Well, here it is, Lacey, the brand new Acura ZDX.
But the question is, what is it? A car? An SUV? Maybe a flying saucer?
Good one, you're right. It is a flying saucer. No, just kidding. Actually, what this is a coupe-like silhouette four-door hatchback built off the most popular Acura, the MDX.
This is the newest trend in the auto industry, to call a vehicle with four doors and a cropped roof a coupe. A silly trend, really. The way they achieve this is by sloping the roof to more of a hatchback design. In the case of the ZDX, they have also hidden the rear door handles to trick the eye into thinking it's a two-door. So I'm standing next to the ZDX, and even though from a distance it looks like a sporty compact vehicle, you get up close to it and it's actually quite large. The belt line is above my waist. All they've really done is just squish down the roof.
The one thing that Acura does have in common is this controversial front grille. Some people say it looks like a bird beak. Online, I've heard people call it a guillotine or a shield, like a warrior. The one thing is it is polarizing, which means you're either going to love it or hate it.
The back end of the ZDX is very aggressive looking. I love the flowing lines, and the 19-inch wheels that come standard make it look really meaty. Now the power liftgate comes as standard equipment, and once the hatch is open, there are a couple of things that really stand out back here. First, the carpet and materials are of the highest quality. The second is that the space isn't that big. The floor is high off the ground, so loading items in it can be tricky. Sure, there's a useful covered trunk-like storage area and side cubbies, but the actual amount of cargo space is limited. Tall objects will not fit when the liftgate is down. The back seats can be folded for more room, but if you're in the market for a true utility, this just isn't it.
Now, Lacey mentioned the high floor in the cargo area. The same is true with the floor. You open the door and you think you're just going to step right in. But when you get the door open, you see there's actually a very high rocker panel here on the side, because this is built off an SUV platform. Now, what you would do with an SUV is you would climb into it. Because it has a crop roof, the opening to get in is quite shallow. I even was getting into this vehicle with my computer bag and sliding it over the center here. I kept knocking my hand on the roof. Now, you kind of get used to that after a while. But once you're inside, you realize, now I'm 6 feet tall. You would need to be 6 feet or under to fit comfortably in this ZDX.
Well, it might be 6 feet and under for the front, but I'm 5'7" and I'm having issues getting in and out of the back of this thing. Because of this sloped roof, I literally have to fold myself in half to climb in here, and there's not a lot of room for your feet either, so getting in and out is not that easy. So 6 feet and under for the front, but 5'7", 5'8" for the back.
Now, this ZDX obviously has a similar dash to the interior of the MDX. Now, because this is almost an all-black interior, it doesn't show off the flowing lines, but it's very pleasant looking. Very nice materials, soft touch on the dash, leather on the dash, carbon look on the dash, really is first class. Now, Lacey thinks this center console, especially with the ignition off, looks like the face of a character from a Transformers movie.
Well, I think Zach had problems seeing the Transformer logo here because he played with Barbies when he was growing up.
Actually, I played with a girl named Barbie. Different, very different.
The ZDX has 2 trim levels available, and leather is standard. The optional packages include navigation, upgraded sound system, and seats. Now, this is the base model, and it does look very classy.
So the ZDX is based on the MDX. That's a very different approach from, say, the Honda Cross Tour that we reviewed earlier this season. See, that's based on the Accord sedan, so it's a tall car, where this is a squished SUV. Very different. The good thing about this ZDX is that people that are used to driving an SUV will enjoy the fact that you sit up a bit higher and you have a commanding view of the road. And it offers a bit more ruggedness than a car platform would. Acura includes their super handling all-wheel drive as standard equipment, so there is a level of confidence in winter driving conditions, and handling is sure-footed through the corners. The problem I have is with the steering. The cockpit feels like a sporty car, but the steering is more SUV-like. the steering ratio isn't responsive. So entering a corner, there really needs to be more input than one would initially think. Really, what Acura has achieved here is a big all-wheel drive hatchback with very edgy styling for buyers who want something different. But I don't get this vehicle. Here's the thing. If you want an Acura that has funky styling, has a conventional trunk, it has tons of power, amazing handling, all-wheel drive, get the new Acura TL. And here's the rub. A fully loaded Acura TL is over $7,000 cheaper than the base model of this ZDX. Like I said, I don't get it.
Zach's right. The ZDX comes with a 3.7-liter V6 engine. It has 300 horsepower and 270 pound-feet of torque. Now the TL with the 3.7-liter engine has 305 horsepower and more torque. Now granted, the TL is a sedan and this ZDX is a SUV derivative, but when you drive them, they both feel like a car. One advantage of the ZDX is ground clearance for going through snow or up to the cottage on the weekend. It can ride over rougher roads, but when it does, the true SUV roots show the ruggedness of the ZDX compared to a car. The ZDX is very comfortable to sit in and drive, and I really enjoyed it on the highway. The interior is nice and quiet. My one complaint, though, is the limited visibility. Not only out the back, but also through the side. This side pillar here makes shoulder checking very difficult. You can't just look out. You've got to actually lean forward to do it.
Okay, Lacey, here's the thing. The Acura ZDX starts at roughly $56,000. That's big money for a vehicle that has, one, limited backseat room, limited cargo space. So, would you recommend it to people?
Well, Zach, I'll tell you about that in just a minute, but first of all, let me tell you what I like about this vehicle. The driver's seat is very comfortable. The interior is nice and quiet. I love the interior styling. As we mentioned before, even on the base model, it's nice and classy looking. And the exterior styling, it's different. It's aggressive and kind of meaty looking. I like it. That black flowing stance really gives it a sporty look. However, on the downside, because of that sloping roofline, you've got limited room in the back for the passengers, you've got limited room for cargo in the back, and you've also got limited visibility because of that side pillar. So, Zach, what do you think?
Well, I'm going to be kind because there are more things I dislike than like about this vehicle. First of all, the styling, I agree with you. There are certain elements of the styling I think are very unique. I like the back, I like the flowing silhouette look. Not crazy about the front of this Acura, not crazy about the front of most Acuras. So I'll go on record, and I have gone on record and said that. Also, I, like Lacey, love the interior. The dash is spectacular. It's beautiful, it's classy, it's nicely finished. It's all of those things, even on the base model. Now to the dislikes. I got to be honest with you. I don't know who's going to buy this vehicle. I really don't. So somebody wants an SUV, they're going to go buy an SUV. Somebody wants a sports car, they're going to buy a sports car. So it's kind of confusing. And considering limited backseat, limited cargo area, and $56,000, I definitely don't think a lot of people are going to run out and buy a ZDX. If you want a funky-looking crossover vehicle, the Crosstour I think does a better job. Beautiful inside, V6 engine, all-wheel drive, and about $15,000 less. Or, if you really want something sporty and edgy looking, the Acura TL fits the bill, all-wheel drive, more horsepower, and cheaper. So I've answered the question. Now I'm going to ask you the question. Can you recommend this vehicle to people?
You know what, Zach? I hate to admit it, but I agree with you 100% on this one.
High five on that, sister. Yeah, Barbie.
Can't get enough of the new Acura ZDX? Then go to drivingtelevision.com for our web-only segments or to see the entire review again.